Keita Williams. I'm your favorite success bully. I'm the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully, which is an elite accountability practice. What we focus on is action. We focus on helping you get things done. I'm not your life coach. I don't help you self-actualize. I don't help you answer the question of who am I, but I can take a goal and break it down into little pieces and help you achieve more. So I'm so excited that it's a new month and a new series. So it is August Action. Hashtag August Action. This is a month that we are going to focus on putting actual action behind our big, hairy, audacious goal. I'm thrilled to have the founders of Davies and Dixon, Makenzie Davies and Kelsey Dixon, as guests. Davies and Dixon is a bi-coastal digital marketing and brand communication agency. This dynamic duo met during their summer internship, built an amazing friendship, and fearlessly took the leap into entrepreneurship together in a new city. The one thing that they pointed out that really stood out for me amongst all the things we talked about was perfection is procrastination. How often do we wait for the perfect time to do something? We wait for the perfect pitch. We wait to be the perfect age. We wait for the perfect time. We wait for the kids to be grown. We wait for all these different things for perfection. And there's no such thing as perfection. We are only really procrastinating out of fear.
I think there's another part of it too, is that procrastination of waiting till it's perfect. And we have
let's talk about that. Let's talk about perfect versus done.
Yeah. We actually have in our office right now, we have a big whiteboard in our office that's like our whole wall. And we have perfection equals failure. And that is when... And what that means is when you're waiting so long for it to be perfect that it never happens, or that, you know, the rest of your, I'm sure you have a lot of things to say about this too with Success Bully.
That's so true. Like, there is never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect day. You're never going to have the perfect copy. You're never going to have the perfect presentation. You're never going to have the perfect alignment of stars. You have to go. You have to do something. You got to jump.
You got to start.
You got to start. And I applaud you two for starting and winning and going. I personally think you all have an amazing backstory on how Davies and Dixon came to be. So if you want to walk me through, I've heard it from Kelsey. Makenzie, I want to hear your side of the story.
Sure. So about 3.5 years ago, moved across the country and came out to Seattle, got a job, and one of my clients at the time I had lost his business, and I was in sales. And so I went up to him and I said, hey, let's have a meeting. I want to learn why I lost your business, and I'd love to earn it back. 5 hours later, I had earned his business back, check. And he had been like, what are you doing with your life?
Oh.
And I said, what? I said, I'm in sales and recruiting, and I really enjoy my life. And he was like, what do you really want to do? And anyway, at the end of that session, he had gotten it out of me that I wanted to start my own firm. And so he said, you need to go start your own thing. And he said, if you could do it, what would you do? And I said, well, I'd want it to be Davies and Dixon. And he was like, who's Dixon? And so I was like, my friend Kelsey, she's moving out here. Let me tell you about her. And so I presented our relationship to him. Like, we met back in New York. Like, at this point, 5 years ago. 6 years ago. I went to her wedding. We've been dear friends. And she's moving out here. And she'd be the only one I would trust to do this with me. And I wouldn't want to do it alone. Like, I really want there to be two people. And we knew how we had been mentored when we met in New York, and it was the same type of leadership and the same vision of how we'd want to work in business and how we view the world. So I thought. And I say this because the next day, fast forward a little bit, I get an email from my mentor or now our mentor, he says, I bought daviesdixon.com. Here's your URL. So you need to go start this. You should probably call Kelsey. And I was like, ha, 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 this is really funny. Not happening. A few weeks later, I call Kelsey. I'm like, hey, you don't want to go work for Expedia, right? You want to come move across the country and start a business. She was like, absolutely no.
Oh, so now I have to ask Kelsey. Tell me about that conversation.
Yes, I told her that moving across the country was enough crazy for 1 year for me. So I said, absolutely not. I'm just not starting a business with you. And where is this coming from? You were just helping me find jobs with stability and, regular paychecks. But she's very persuasive. And she convinced me to come out for a long weekend, and build a business plan. And she said, if you hate it, it's November. You don't move till January. You have plenty of time to find another job. And I said, okay, that's worth the investment to me. Let's go explore this. Let's be crazy. Let's go. And it was the most invigorating weekend of my life. And the mentor that she had mentioned before, Dan, actually sat with us the whole weekend and helped us build a business plan. And he's the reason that we are here today. He threw down every hesitation that I had about starting a business, and which heavily revolved around, freedom and flexibility and stability and, comfort zones, really. And he kind of slashed those in half into saying, no, actually, in fact, you could have more freedom, you could have more flexibility, because now the world is your oyster and you get to make your own rules. And you get to make a stronger impact because you're capable of it. And he actually looked at my resume, I remember, and looked at my LinkedIn profile and said, these things aren't normal, and this is why you're great. And sometimes you have to have somebody tell you
you're not normal,
that you're great.
You're the exception. You're the exception.
Yeah, and I truly believe there's that in many people, and potentially everybody, but somebody sometimes has to tell you that for you to believe it. So that was all it took for us. And then by the end of that, I was like, all right, let's go.
All right, so now you went, let's go. What was your next move after let's go?
Move across the country. So then what she had done 4 months prior, I did too, and packed up my Toyota Yaris with my husband and moved across the country. January, set foot in Seattle. January 21st. January 23rd, we had our first pitch. So we're in Walmart literally buying pillows for my apartment and furniture and, cleaning supplies, whatever, the necessities of living in Seattle. And
2 carts, by the way, going through Walmart. And I'm also holding a clipboard or a pad of paper or something, and we're checking off all of the things we have to do for this pitch and talking about our language and who are we as a brand and what's our mission. Some of the more refined details that you needed to present yourself for your first pitch. We're literally doing that in Walmart while we are checking off her what I need to live list.
Yeah, and she had just quit her job that week too. Mm-hmm. So it all happened very fast.
I love you too. Oh. Okay, so you have roped Kelsey in. You have done your first big pitch. What was your big learning from that first pitch?
That I'm so glad we didn't win it.
So you didn't win it?
No.
Failed miserably. But we thought we were really clever in our approach, because we came in, and at this point we hadn't had our brand defined. So we had this...
We were throwing spaghetti at wall.
Yeah. We had this terrible pink color, baby girl
Barbie pink.
And anyway, we didn't have our brand quite figured out. So we were like, it'll be really clever if we show up with cocktails, because that's interesting, and we'll make them right on the spot. Because now
you made cocktails
we're
during the pitch.
So we made martinis right in the pitch. And we're like, yeah, let me tell you about you. Ice shaker and
it was
then
something
pour.
about we mix it up or something. I don't know. It was really cheesy. It was really lame.
So lame. And we lost it. I mean, we had a really lovely conversation, and we out-pitched ourselves, and we're so glad, because if we would have landed that, we would have failed and performed miserably, I think.
Yeah, we weren't ready for it.
We were not ready.
We weren't ready for what we were signing up for. But it was great practice.
Describe the room when you were shaking cocktails. Was it landing well, or were people like...
Oh, no, they loved it. He seemed to love it. We even made him a shirt, too.
We did make him a shirt.
Yeah, it was a lot.
There were shirts and martinis at your first pitch.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And I think our lesson from that was thoughtful, and it was personalized. And so there was a reason behind the shirt and behind the drink, beyond our brand, but also how it tied into what we were pitching. And that fit us. Being personal and being thoughtful in our approach was something that we knew we wanted. We just did it in the wrong way, for the most part. So I think that was the overall lesson for us.
I am so excited to focus on August action to help you achieve your big, hairy, audacious goal. Let's not wait for the perfect time, the perfect storm, the perfect age, or the perfect amount of experience. Don't make perfection a crutch to procrastinate. Just go for it. The learning is in the doing. I encourage you to act now. It could be large or small. Just do it. Thank you again to the founders of Davies and Dixon, Makenzie Davies and Kelsey Dixon, for sharing all manner of action-oriented gems. For more information, check them out at daviesanddixon.com. We're produced with love by Large Media, and that's larjmedia.com. Don't go big, go large. Keep up with my antics on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and via successbully.com. My personal BHAG is a race to 10,000. That's to build my social following on the interweb. So I would love for you to like, share, write reviews, tell all your friends, all of that good stuff. And if you need me, I would happily kick your butt. I'm Keita Williams.